Uh, on that note, yesterday, in this wasn't really announced; it was just in a footnote, but it's the Star Wars Celebration was answering questions or Q&A or something on their website. And in the article, it said, with the next Star Wars Celebration not taking place until 2025, you'll have plenty of time to work on your cosplay, refine your Wookiee roar, and sharpen your lightsaber skills. That leads me to believe that we are in for a drought of announcements after this onslaught of great television that we're going to get.
Yeah.
And then probably back in Orlando. Now, if Tim and I do not go to the Orlando one, you can chastise the hell out of us. Because there is legitimately no excuse for Tim and I not to go to the Orlando one. So 2025, I would assume Orlando, not confirmed, Star Wars Celebration. But I think that means we are in for a dry spell.
Yeah, I think it's going to be rough.
I think the Ubisoft game will be the saving grace.
It's really interesting to see that they're doing this again, where they're taking that year off. I'm trying to think back at what it was like when they did this last time, when there was that year gap. It was between movies, wasn't it? It was between like episodes 8 and 9 or 7 and 8.
No,
it was between one of the episodes.
They canceled 2020 because of COVID, and they didn't come back until 2020.
When was Orlando last? That was 2017?
18 Star Wars Celebration.
I want to say it was 2017. Was it 2016?
April 13th to 16th, 2017.
It was 2017. Yeah, and then after Orlando was
Chicago in 2019.
Went to Chicago in 2019.
And then Anaheim in 2022, and then Europe was this year.
I could have sworn there was a break, and not just like a COVID break. I thought it was just like a break.
There is a break. 17. There's no 2018, and there's
That's
no
what it was.
2020, and then there's no
Okay, so
2021.
it went from 2017 to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it makes me feel like we're gonna go through like a big Star Wars drought.
It feels like in a lot of ways they're just getting the content out that they had in the pipeline and then reforming a bit. Probably with Iger coming on, probably with fan reaction to some stuff. Also, they can announce stuff at D23, so it's not like we'll be completely...
That's true. I always forget about D23 or D23.
Yeah, well, it's not like we'll be completely in the dark. We'll have D23. So, and then they also did, it wasn't D23 when they had the shareholders meeting. We found out a ton of information. Remember, the weirdest was the shareholders meeting with Disney, and they were like, season 15 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And we're like, wait a minute. Oh, Fox. Oh, that's weird coming from Disney. So, yeah, we'll see. It's 2025, hoping for Orlando.
I would love that. Having that in our backyard is just so good.
What's funny
especially
is
with Batu and everything.
We say in our backyard, but you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna be like, let's make a weekend out of it. Let's go to Disney, and then we'll go to Tim and I go to Celebration, or wives will hang out with kids by the pool, and then Tim and I will end up going Galaxy's Edge because that'll be a great idea during Star Wars Celebration. Won't be crowded at all, and then.
Not at all. There's no way in hell.
So even though it's in our backyard, we're still the only thing we're not going to do is get on an airplane. Everything else will be pretty much the same.
And we'll be able to park our car. Yeah, like you could like take your car and then park it.
Yeah.
So like
that's a big deal because then one of us can drive to OCC. I'm assuming that's where it'll be.
That's where it was last time, and it fit really well.
There's no other venue that could hold them in Orlando.
No, it's massive.
Yeah,
needs a lot of room.
Yep.
The show you haven't seen the show floor.
OCC of Celebration or OCC?
Yeah, you've never been to a Celebration.
No, I've never been to Celebration.
Man,
I've seen the floor plan.
It's so cool, dude. Like the props and stuff they have out, like just like the people who bring stuff. Like it's just.
I saw last year's. They had that whole stage set that I was freaking out over.
There's the Battle of Endor. They have like the actual like shield generator, and like there's a fucking ATST that's standing outside. The guy brings his Rancor every year. It's super cool. You can like sit in the hand and it holds you.
I freak out because as planning events for God knows how long, I love incorporating props into events and trade shows and things like that. That's one of my favorite things to do. So I love when a client comes and they're like, we have this huge budget. I'm like, cool, I'm going to spend it all. So that stuff excites me. I don't like boring trade shows. I hate it. So when GCX budget, like last year with COVID numbers and everything, we had to slash things and it was like heartbreaking to me because that's not like that's not how I like to put on an event. So
Yeah.
I love props and cool things. Like old school E3 was the jam when they had the themed booths and stuff like that.
Yeah.